Where is the news? Hold on, is it official? So, okay, hold on. So here's what I want to know, because everybody's freaking out about this. Here's the first thing that we see. There's not a whole lot of like official news yet, and this is something that's like pretty disappointing, but let's see what Margaret says. This chapter has come to a close. My time at Intrepid Studios has officially ended. To the Ashley creation community, or some of the most passionate, dedicated players I've ever seen in this industry, I genuinely wish I could have done more for you. I gave everything I had. I did my very best with what was within my power, and I ask one last favor, please be kind to the developers for people who have families and who've lost their jobs after pouring our hearts and souls into Ashley creation. To my incredible game services team, you're an absolute AAA team, talented, kind, collaborative, and just genuinely good people. I think you should do any project any day. I care so deeply for you, and I know our bond is one that will carry forever. I'll never forget our time together. As for all this, I don't really have the words. It wasn't what I expected, but I'm holding on to the good because there's so much of it. With that, I'm officially looking for new opportunities. If you know of any leadership or director level roles in narrative, community, marketing, or social, I'd be grateful for any leads or connections. So this is 2 hours ago. This is 3:54 what time zone? I can make a limited statement in my personal capacity and not on behalf of the company regarding the situation. So, okay, so Steven posted this, but this is clearly in response to something. But why would he say this? He prefaces it regarding the situation. It sounds like he's responding to something. Is there something else before this? Reports started coming out of, okay, so because I'm trying to get the timeline right? You guys keep saying read it, but it completely changed the context of what's happening. Okay, so timeline. Reports start coming out that Intrepid is laying people off. Steven posts today on Discord. Margaret posts on LinkedIn. Is this right? Margaret was first, okay? To clarify, we are going to go back to Coach Esfand, but I want to look into this because it seems like Ashton's creation is over, which sucks. This is something that I was super interested in. I think any MMO fan, anybody who loves the genre, you never want to see an MMO fail or crash, but this was one that was like, okay, like hopefully this game is good. I played it for a couple weeks, like at the start of this last like beta period with the Steam launch. My goal was to hit level 25, but I stopped. I had a bunch of other stuff going on, and then I've just been going hard on Burning Crusade for now. We always knew that there was a chance that the game wouldn't get finished. It's in early access, okay? Everybody knows there's a chance. It feels really, really shitty because it's like this happened 2 months after the Steam release. Like, this feels like super, super shitty. This sucks. There started to be some rumors and reports coming out that Intrepid is laying people off. This happened because of, I guess, LinkedIn, and this happened because of the WARN Act. So we'll go over that. Then after that, Margaret made a post on LinkedIn. Margaret is one of the community. I forgot her exact title, but she was like a community manager, someone who was like a bridge between like community and the devs, and she was like the middleman. Margaret is great, by the way. If you've never had a chance to talk to Margaret or interact with Margaret is like amazing. But she makes a post on LinkedIn, and after that, Steven, who was the creative director, Steven posts on Discord, like under his own sort of like, these are my words, and this is all I'm gonna say. This kind of sort of thing. So we'll go over all that. First things first, and again, I'm learning along the way too. This is news to me, and again, this absolutely blows. So it looks like, I guess there was a Reddit post 7 hours ago. New layoffs at Intrepid. What is happening? So they go and they look at some of the LinkedIn members. They look at the people on LinkedIn, and it seems like people were, before it was director of communications at Intrepid Studios. And it seems like people, their job titles were changing off of Intrepid. So she changed it, and people were like, what's going on here? This was a few hours, this is 7 hours ago. And right now it is 9 o'clock Texas time, 9 o'clock Central time. From what it sounds like, there's something called the WARN Act. The WARN Act's 33% rule is triggered for a mandatory 60-day notice for mass layoffs. If 50 to 499 employees lose their job at one site within 30 days, and that number represents at least 33% of the total active workforce, meaning if you're getting like nuked, if the company is getting shredded, and if a big company is getting shredded, the employer must provide notice similar to the threshold for 500 plus employees, though the percentage doesn't apply to the larger layoff number. Oh, so for if it's larger than 500, it doesn't matter what percentage the company 500 plus is. The rule ensures smaller companies, but still large ones with a significant percentage of their workforce affected by layoffs get the same early warning as larger companies, helping communities adjust to job losses. 60 days, so you have to tell them 2 months in advance. So there is nothing official yet on when it's over, but kind of the leaks and the rumors and stuff started swirling around now. All we know that within 2 months it's over. So they've known for 2 months and said nothing. Hold on, is it confirmed studio is closing on February 2nd? I can make a limited statement in my personal capacity and not on behalf of the company regarding the situation. Control of the company shifted away from me, and the board began directing actions that I could not ethically agree with or carry out. As a result, I chose to resign and protest rather than lend my name or authority to decisions I cannot ethically support. Following my resignation, much of the senior leadership team resigned. Following those departures, The board made the decision to issue WARN Act notices and proceed with a mass layoff. I cannot responsibly speak to further details at this time due to ongoing legal and governance matters. What I can say is that the developers and staff acted in good faith and they deserve better than the uncertainty they were now facing. I'm incredibly dismayed by the situation. So who's on the board? I mean, I guess they went out and they got investment from some kind of private equity is what this sounds like. And as part of having like a VC come in, they invest in the company, they get on the board, they invest money into the project. Because they invest money, they ask for, you know, they want to see your books, they want to see all kinds of stuff, and they ask for a spot on the board. This is all normal, by the way, this part. Because if you have somebody investing a lot of money into your business, if you have somebody investing a lot of money into your company, that obviously they're going to want to be heavily involved in the product at that point. This is how like all like venture capital, any sort of investment, all this investment equity, all this kind of stuff, that's how it works, because they put money into something, they want to get an X amount of return. Okay, this part of it is normal. But I guess they brought people on board and the board began directing actions that I could not ethically agree with or carry out. As a result, I chose to resign. It looks like Steven says this. He says the board is making decisions. I chose to resign in protest rather than lend my name or authority to decisions I could not ethically support. This whole thing feels terrible. I mean, I'm somebody who's really excited about the game. It's like, even if I ended up not playing the game, it's good for the genre. Like, I love MMOs. I love games. This like really blows. It also sucks because like I played it and I thought like, okay, maybe this has some promise. Right? I think it's taken way too long in development. I think you'd be completely blind to think that there was no chance that the game wasn't going to make it. Right? It'd be insane to think that there was 100% no chance that the game, like you thought there was at the very minimum like a 1% chance that the game wouldn't make it. Right? But for it to happen 2 months or less than 2 months after a Steam release, it's completely insane. Other MMOs being successful helps WoW because Blizzard steals the good ideas. No, it's good for the genre. Like, you don't want to do it. They said the game was funded. I don't understand where the money went, especially if you got investors. So they said the game was fully funded. Before, in the past, didn't they already say that the game was funded? The game was funded and then they ran out of money and then they went out to get funding. This was something that was known, right?
On February 2nd, 2026, Intrepid Studios will issue a layoff notice to all of its employees via first-class mail.
Where is this information coming from? What is he reading? Because anybody can write this and it'll spread like wildfire. Again, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not trying to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I'm not trying to sound like a schizo, but I do believe it. So like, but I'm trying to be grounded here and be like, okay, let's slow down a little bit. Even though I believe this, let's slow down a little bit. And where's like the evidence? A GM in game said, oh, he's reading a text from a developer and he won't reveal the source. Okay.
Intrepid Studios Act, or the WARN Act, which we had talked about. On February 2nd, 2026, Intrepid Studios will issue a layoff notice to all of its employees via first-class mail. This notice affects all job titles at all positions. The company has no alternative other than to undertake an entire and permanent plant closing within the meaning of the WARN Act.
This doesn't sound like a text from a dev. This sounds like a PR statement. That's why I'm saying, like, where did the 100% was like a dev DM'd him this and he just won't say who?
By close of business on February 2nd, 2026. Currently, the company does not have plans to coordinate with a local workforce development board.
I'm looking for the February 2nd exactly, because if the studios are closing February 2nd and there was a WARN Act and the WARN Act says that you have to give a 60-day notice, does that not mean the 60-day notice was given before the Steam full release? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But I don't want to be irresponsible in that assumption. You know, because that's like a pretty damning assumption as well. I mean, the whole thing is damned at this point, but like, you see what I'm saying? Wait, Theory Forge in here? Wait, so Theory Forge, where'd you read that? I can't speak timing, only to what I read. Wait, so where did you read that? Or was it somebody messaged you? If somebody messaged you and you can't say, if it was over February 2nd, not they were issuing the notice on February 2nd, because that would have meant we went through that whole last 2 months after the notice and we didn't know and nobody said anything. That would have been, oh, dude. Oh, that would have been bad. So it looks like the official notice is happening February 2nd. And then the law says that you have to issue that notice with at least 60 days. Like 60 days, you have to give it at least a notice 60 days before it actually happens, which is probably exactly 60 days. If they had known that this was like in the books and this was planned, I would have felt like used and it would have pissed me the hell off. That's what I was trying to confirm, is if it's all over on the 2nd, then that means they all knew and I would have felt, I would have been livid. It looks like that's the date that things are getting issued. So I guess this was just leaked and it's early. I'll be honest with you. I'll just tell you straight up. I had devs from multiple really big companies messaging me, MMO devs from different companies, were like, hey, what'd you think of Ashes? What'd you think of this? Tons of people were asking me because everybody in the industry had their eyes on Ashes, not because they thought it was going to be good, not because they wanted it to be good even necessarily, but I think everybody wanted to see it continue its development, even if they have their own games that they're working on. Like, it's good for the MMO genre to have more good MMOs, despite the fact that there's a lot of times that MMO players have this very tribal, there can only be one sort of mentality. Despite all those things, it's good for there to be good MMOs. And more good MMOs and more people playing MMOs because it's good for the genre. It's good for the industry. It's good for all these individual people that message me and ask me like, hey, what'd you think about this? What'd you think about that thing? It's good for those people's personal careers, right? Because it's good for their job security, right? The whole thing sucks. It's weird they're laying off everyone. They said they're doing a stress test. Well, here's the deal. So this message that says Vera is still growing and the road hasn't been easy. We've shared a director's letter addressing the top concerns. We're hearing about RMT bots, PvPs, and bug performance, and here's what's ahead. So they put this out 2 days ago. But here's the thing. They put this out 2 days ago. Theory Forge was reading something that was sent to him from somebody. Likely a lot of the people working on the team did not know all this stuff yet. Some people probably did, but likely a lot of people didn't know because they said they didn't get their notice. Or the plan was to notify them on February 2nd. Apparently this was the beginning of the downfall. What is this?
That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
Okay, thank you. Damn. As we return back to Coach Esfand in just a moment. A moment of silence. Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. Just like Season of Discovery. Dust to dust. This is like a really bad thing for the industry. I mean, I don't think MMOs are dead, right? Some people are going to be like, MMOs are dead. MMOs are. Some people are gonna. I don't necessarily think that. 2 months ago, I was like, wait, we might be on the cusp of like an MMO renaissance here. Maybe there's a lot of MMO stuff going on, right? We got Burning Crusade Classic, and by the way, Burning Crusade Classic. This launch of Burning Crusade is way more popular than the original Classic Burning Crusade launch from 2021. I don't know how. I think it's because of the leveling boost, which sounds insane. But there was times where I was seeing like over 100 AVs, just hundreds of battlegrounds happening at the same time. It's insane. Well, even the 2 servers thing, all the battlegrounds were linked before. So there's tons of battlegrounds. It's insane. It's not the server because the battlegrounds were all linked across all servers. It is crazy how many people are playing. Oh, I'm an employment lawyer. Wait, this is interesting. I'm an employment lawyer, but they're just going to be paid for the remainder of the 60 days. And there's no more work to be done. I'm an employment lawyer. So is that something that you know, Murdoch? Like you know that for a fact? Or is it like the law says that you just have to keep paying them? Technically, you could ask them not to come to work or anything. Is that how it is? You have to keep paying them for 60 days, but they don't necessarily have to do work. If there's no work to be done, it's just pay. Wait, Murdoch. Matt Murdock is a blind attorney. What is Daredevil's job? Daredevil is in my chat? Holy. The real Daredevil is here. I've been seeing him out. He even made a blind pun. It's him. It's actual Daredevil. What the heck? How is he writing? Cinema. Surely there's going to be more Ash of the Creation news. Like this is a developing story. So surely there's going to be more stuff coming out about this. When it does happen, we'll go over it. We'll talk about it again. But I know there's a lot of fans of Coach Esfand that want to see the franchise continue. Thank you guys for watching the YouTube video. This sucks. This is brutal. I know this is something a lot of people really looking forward to.